Welcome everyone to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews.
Giving you opinions about nerd stuff is our superpower.
I'm Captain Mao.
I am Hailstorm.
And I'm Weapon 2, folks. Welcome. We are going to be talking about what, The Matrix?
We are going to be talking about the Matrix.
Matrix.
So the next in line in our classic review segment brings one of my favorite movies of all time, The Matrix. Now, as you guys know, part of the fun we're having with this is one of us suggests a movie that the other or both other people have not seen.
Yep.
And Hailstorms actually has not seen this. It's probably been a minute since Weapon 2 has seen it. I could recite the damn thing line for line. That's fine. Okay, so spoilers for the whole thing. Let's just assume that you guys have never seen this movie before, or that you guys have all seen this movie before. As you can tell, my opinion on it's probably going to be very positive. I'm actually super curious what Hailstorms thinks. But first, Weapon 2, do what only you can do and tell us what The Matrix is about.
Well, The Matrix
Get comfy, kids.
is about this. You know, the robots are going to take over the world, right? We all know that's going to happen, probably.
I, for one, would like to welcome our new robot overlords.
And they're the worst. They're like
Let's sell the human
not
race out
cool
hard.
at all. They're in this movie. We're all thinking we're trucking along in our own normal little lives. It's weird that some people have really great lives and some don't in the Matrix, but it's weird. It's a program. It's robots. And so something going on. There's some people who have figured out that's something's awry here. This isn't exactly what we think is happening. Isn't like real, man. And so we got this character. I mean, I don't want to go too depth into this, do I?
I mean, overall plot synopsis.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the world is something that we think it is. It's not. It's run by robots. Should I say we're batteries? Because we're fucking batteries.
You said
in
it
this
before.
Thing. There we go. We're batteries in this thing. They're using us because they have no other power source. They've decided, they've figured out a way to keep us. And we've got to figure out how to flip the script on these guys. They think they control us. No, you know what? There's the one. I'm not going to tell you who the one is yet, but we're going to find out who it is pretty soon. And he's going to flip the script. He's going to be and we're going to give them a what's for. Did I say enough, or am I just talking crazy?
You're fine. You're fine.
I mean, I like that you're protecting some of the plot elements on a movie that's, 20 years old?
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm going to say. For the one person watching this that hasn't seen the movie, go watch the movie.
Yes.
For everyone else that has seen the movie and you're curious our thoughts on it, and that's why you're here, yes, you know it stars Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, who's the chick who plays Trinity? Carrie-Anne Moss, amongst great other cast members. And yeah, so Neo, played by Keanu Reeves.
Fuck Cypher.
It's just a normal computer programmer at a big software place. Feels that there's something off, something wrong in the world. He can't put his finger quite on it, but he knows that there's something wrong. He's tracked down by Morpheus's crew and is told the truth. And the truth is, the world as he knows it, which is the world at the end of the 20th century, is a computer-simulated dream world. We are all actually grown as a source of energy for the machines, and we live in this computer program essentially as a form of control, so that way they could harness our the heat and stuff like that we emit, that we just generate naturally, combined with a source of fusion. That's their power, right? So a person can be woken up from this once they're shown the truth, and then their body's disposed of, and then they could live in the real world. Spoilers, the real world fucking sucks, right? So we've been at war with these machines for hundreds of years. Now, that's kind of the overall bit about it. Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne's character, believes there's somebody called The One who's supposed to be the savior, the one who could override the code of the Matrix, that could do things nobody else is supposed to be able to do. Now, the Matrix is groundbreaking. It's revolutionary. It's set into motion lots of tropes that other movies have emulated to this day. That said, I recognize if you haven't seen this movie and you've seen other movies that have done this thing, but minus the 20 years of cheese, this is probably going to be a totally different experience. So I am genuinely curious what Hailstorm thinks about this, and I don't think it's going to be favorable. But I want to know, Hailstorm, what did you think?
I liked it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
No, so I don't like to watch movies just to pick them apart. If I'm picking apart a movie, then I feel like it had to have been pretty bad for me to just just hate it and pick it apart. So I recognize that it's been 20 years since it came out. So the technology is not going to hold up the same as it would have 20 years ago. For instance, like the fact that they have to find a telephone. Well, if that was the case now, they would be like,
They'd be burnt.
they'd really be in trouble. 'Cause
Yep.
it seemed like cell phones didn't cut it. So it had to be a landline. But no, I really liked it. I thought it was good. I think the overall theme of which is worse, like living in a fantasy world that's not real but it's okay, or living in the real world that sucks, which is worse?
But it's the truth. Oh, yeah.
Because like you said fuck Cypher, but I mean Cypher was like, I just want to go back to it all being make believe.
Yeah.
I don't.
Ignorance is bliss.
Hey,
Yeah.
I do not fault him for wanting to go back to that. He turned and murdered his friends.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's why I say fuck Cypher.
Yeah, should we have given him more beer?
Yeah. It'll make it better.
So I like that part. I like that. I tend to stay away from movies that are so far deep into the science fiction that you can't get all of it in the first watching.
Oh yeah, this is hard.
Yeah, because
sci-fi, yeah.
I tend to not, when I'm watching a movie, I can't sit and just focus on that movie for 2 hours. It's hard for me.
Oh,
so
we've talked about this.
Yes, I know you guys hate that, but I did for this, out of like respect for you guys wanting me to pay and give it my full attention.
Nicely done.
Yeah. But still, I feel like you would have to watch it a few more times to get every single.
And it's one of those where like you could watch it once and be like, I got that, and then the second viewing you'll notice shit that you didn't even know to be looking for, type thing.
Yeah. No, I did like it. I thought it was really good. And even though I knew, like you said, a lot of the plot things and a lot of the things that when you first saw it for the first time would have been amazing, I still appreciated it.
Nice. Wow. Okay. I'm actually surprised. Not that I thought we were gonna like have a debate or anything like that, but I really didn't think you were going to appreciate it. I'm actually really surprised that you did. Pleasantly surprised. Weapon 2?
When you're in the Matrix and you're woke in the Matrix, and you're one of the people that's going out on missions in the Matrix, apparently there's a dress code. You have to wear black
leather. Yeah.
Black, not always leather.
Well, no, the one
But
chick's in white leather.
Black, no, a lot of black leather, but
Yeah,
black and
must.
sunglasses. Black and sunglasses are a must.
Yeah.
Apparently, seems strange to me because you can be wearing anything you want because it's the Matrix. But also, my favorite scene personally in this movie is when Neo, the one, gets knocked down and he's laying face down, bleeding on the ground, and he gets up and he wipes the blood from his mouth and he goes. He gets one of these, and then he does one of these, and goes. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
That's really Bruce Lee. That's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee
right
shit.
there.
It was very
So,
Bruce
okay.
Lee-esque.
Let me dive in a little. Like, I won't get too crazy about it because I can talk about this movie a lot. But let me just talk about why this has stood the test of time for me. Why this has been one of my favorite movies forever.
Okay.
Because I feel like it starts out and it's very relatable in that the character of Neo just goes to his little cubicle job, his dead-end job where he gets no joy or happiness out of, doesn't have a lot of friends, isn't really dating anybody, is just caught in the monotony of everyday life. And it does something that the movie Wanted did really good, is it shows you this dude who's just like, there's nothing wrong. He's just beat down by life, and he feels that something's wrong, that there's something bigger, that it's not right.
Tell me about
And
it.
I feel like every single one of us, unless you're rich as shit,
Yeah.
has been in that point where you're just like, this is it.
Is this it?
There's
Yeah.
got to be
This
something
might
better.
not be real.
So yeah, he feels like there's something wrong with the world, but he can't put his finger on it. And I feel like we've all been there before. And then he's presented with the answer. Morpheus famously says, I offer the truth, nothing else. And as Weapon 2 was talking about earlier, sometimes the truth sucks. Because then when he's shown in one of the most iconic scenes in all of cinema, when Morpheus is talking to him and explaining what the Matrix is, he gives a history as to what happens. And he talks about how human beings have been transformed into this. And he holds up the Duracell battery. Mm-hmm. That was one of the moments that legitimately had my jaw on the freaking floor. The moment when he wakes up and he looks out in the pod that he's in, and you just see it endlessly going on, just tower after tower, pod like billions, and you realize that's humanity, that's the human race. None of this shit is real. That's all it is. Like, that is like a holy shit moment, the likes of which has never actually been topped in another movie for me personally. Nothing has ever blown my mind because the marketing for this movie was brilliant. Because if you watch the trailers, they don't give anything away. Like, they don't say what it is. And the tagline was, "What is the Matrix?" The website was whatisthematrix.com. Like, they didn't actually say what the fuck the movie was about. That was brilliant. And that nowadays would never fly. They almost never don't give the movie away in the marketing. It's like those moments are freaking crazy and iconic. The fight scenes, the choreography, all of that is amazing. The way they did like the bullet time, slow-mo, all that, like you would think it's just cheap CGI, but no, it's like really crazy innovative camera tricks that they did using the technology available at the time. But like they kind of like Jurassic Park did back in 93, like they invented techniques to get specific shots for this movie. It wasn't just as easy as making it in CGI. So many scenes in that movie are just undeniably iconic and have been emulated to this day, and like so much of it I think very much holds up upon repeat viewings, and that movie is like so deep, it's freaking amazing. So there's another Matrix coming now, Matrix 4, and I'm excited for it, but that's just me. That's how I view this movie. Weapon 2, what do you think? Does it hold up to you as much? Did you rewatch it for this?
I love the Matrix. I've always loved it. I think it's still super unique. I know that a lot of other movies have done similar things, but I still think it's super unique. You know, there's one thing in the Matrix, marble walls do not stand up to bullets the way you would think they would in the real world. I mean, they destroy those marble walls, the bullets, I mean, shatter them to pieces. I mean, some of those columns are structure bearing. I mean, they're weight bearing. I mean, that's detrimental to the ability for that building to remain functional. I mean, I just want to point that out. It's a good movie.
So one of the things that's really cool about this movie, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is the spoon scene. It's one of the more famous, more iconic scenes. The reason that's really cool is at this point in the movie, you're in, you've had the explanation, you've had the exposition dump as to like what's going on, and you understand like none of this is real, right? But part of you is still like not quite there, and so when he goes in to meet the Oracle and he sees all the other potential ones, and he sees a little Tibetan kid bending the spoon, and the kid hands him the spoon, and he gets the spoon, and the kid's just like, don't try to bend the spoon, that's impossible, rather try to realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon. Then you'll see it's not the spoon that bends, but only yourself. And that is this weird secondary mindfuck where you're like, yeah, no, he's not holding shit. He's just in a chair, just like tweaking out on this simulation. Like, it's really him understanding that that's not there, and and like your mind can go crazy with that. And then I love how that's echoed later in the movie when he's about to shoot the elevator shaft and fucking let that go down, explode, zip line up, and do all this crazy ninja shit. And he's just like, there is no spoon. Just like, that's freaking awesome. Yes, that was amazing. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. This is a great movie. I love this movie so much.
You know, though, I do have to say it's kind of nice of the robots to give everybody this fantasy world instead of realizing that they're just like.
That's how you keep them pacified.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you keep
nice.
them docile.
They could have done it a different way, you know, like with NyQuil or something.
Well, no, because that's another trope in like sci-fi that do this similar thing.
To be overly elaborate.
It's just a dream, man. It's a dream world, man.
So they talked about this in what was that Michael Bay movie in 2005? Scarlett Johansson, Ewan McGregor, The Island, where they have like the clones of people that like rich people buy and like have, and whenever like somebody needs a pancreas or whatever, like they go get the clone, kill the clone, and harvest that organ. So they tried just growing the organs, just growing the skin and all that kind of stuff. And like, no, they would always die, and we didn't know why. It's because they need life, like they need stimulation, they need all of that. Have you guys never seen that movie, The Island?
I have not.
That was actually a really good movie.
No, it sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. So that's a good movie. But that's kind of like a trope thing. Is like you need this. My only like issue would be, so hey, say I'm in the Matrix and I'm working my job for minimum wage, delivering pizzas at Pizza Hut or whatever. I'd be like, you couldn't have made me a billionaire? Right. Like, you could have made me... What machine did I piss off?
Because you can make the world whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, that was Cypher's negotiation. I need to be rich and famous.
No, but he's like, I want to be somebody important. Like an actor. Like, that's where his brain goes. I was like, okay, sure. I would have had an ironclad contract. I would have had like exactly what I am, the money I'm making, the movies. Like, I would have not just been like, be someone important, like an actor. Like, no, it would have been really in depth.
Hey, you can only ask for so much. These robots, man.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Who knows if they even held up their end?
They're like, hey, whoa there, partner. Okay? Tell us, we'll tell you.
But yes, so I'm actually pleasantly surprised that you enjoyed The Matrix. I love this movie. I think it's great. The sequels fell flat. The sequels are much easier to pick apart. Like the Matrix Reloaded gets really convoluted and over the top with this use of CGI. And yeah, say what you will about the third movie, but this movie on its own, it really is kind of a self-contained story. You don't need to go any further than this. If you don't want to, you could be perfectly happy walking away from it. Yeah, great revolutionary movie. Can't say any more good things about it. Weapon 2.
One of my more favorite movies. I'm sure it's probably close to top 10 for sure or something like that. Yeah.
So I do have to say that it does lose something when you don't watch it, like when it came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
I
Yeah.
liked the movie.
Like
It was a really good movie, but
Right.
I know I don't feel the same way about it that you guys
Right.
do.
And that was going to be my exact thing. If you're obviously not as passionate about it, it's like, yeah, because you didn't see it when it came out. Had you, your mind, you would maybe not be as hardcore into it, but at least closer on our side of the spectrum. But that's anything. Not to keep talking about Tank Girl, but I bet if I watched that as a kid in the 90s, I bet that would have been my jam. You know what I mean?
Especially if you were female.
Yeah, and I think I said that in the review. I could see how it resonated with a young Hailstorm, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think any movie, the further you get away from it, decades and decades away from when it came out, it's going to lose whatever magic it would have had right at that time too.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's the nostalgia that keeps it magical to people who saw it when it came out. Yeah, but this movie did a lot for the action movies genre as a whole. So it is definitely a classic. So yeah, that is our take on The Matrix. Probably not a surprise to those of you who know us. But yeah, if you have any other classic movies you want us to review, fucking shout it out in the comments, because the next movie that we're going to review in the classic review segment was actually a suggestion by a fan.
Yes, it
That's
was.
going to be Willow.
It was. Hey, and feel free to put in the comments your opinions of The Matrix or anything you think that we left out that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just let us know.
Yeah, I had a lot to say, and then we started drinking Blackwater, and whew, that all went out the window. But yeah.
But you know,
Closing
really,
thoughts?
we don't need like 40 minutes on. What are we
Anytime
at
you
now?
put Imperial before your beer choice.
Okay, let's wrap this up. All right, any closing thoughts?
No.
Hailstorms.
I got nothing.
All right, thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
Peace.